Hello. So, EP making thing, also appropriate for LPs, albums, whatever. First thing I need to do that I'd recommend doing is come up with an album theme, or at least a vibe or something. Because at the minute I've got lyrics, probably about 8 complete finalised lyrics, but they haven't been turned into songs yet, and I've got plenty of song ideas for lyrics. Um, so I need to, at this point, come up with some kind of theme. So I got one or two ideas just to give you an example of what I mean by a theme. One is going to be, I think I'll probably call it Grey Streets. So the small hometown that I live in, I found a lot of people are a bit lost and alienated. A lot of people doing working jobs they don't particularly like, don't want to be working, but they need the money. People do things, but they don't really carry much passion with them. I think the town's a bit dull and dusty and grey. For various reasons. There aren't many. Well, there isn't any youth clubs around here. There's not many events that happen. I just feel like there's not much community going on in this town, and I think a lot of places, particularly in England, are like that. So I wanted to take the approach of observing these grey streets and trying to figure out what's going on, why it's going on, how we can add a bit of colour and a bit of spark back into the town. Another theme would be, I think I was going to call it Jester's Alcove. The idea that one's going to be a bit more personal. So personal stories that I've got, things that have happened to me, a bit of self-reflection, things that annoyed me in life or whatever. So again, one's personal theme, and the other one is observing the town. There's another one I want to do. I won't tell you much about that one because it's going to be way in the future. It's not a priority at the minute, but basically it's a fictional story, and I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to do a bit of spoken word and music backing for that, or do something a bit different with it. But other examples would be like there's I can't remember the guy's name, the rapper from The Streets, which it sounds like a band, but I think it's just one guy rapping. But yeah, there was a good album. Again, I don't know what the album name is. Sorry about that. It basically just takes. I mean, it's probably based on a true story, but added tweaked bits and exaggerated bits or whatever to make it flow as one story. But he makes it sound like he took a random week of his life, whereas having a bit of a stressful time. Nothing major happened. It was just like an ordinary week that was a bit stressful, and sort of wrote about that and broke it up into songs. The opening, he lost his money that he was meant to have, and then he's got to do A, B, C, and D and get that done in a day. And then A goes to shit, so he's still got to do these other things. And then there's another one where he meets a girl, and he's just happy to just chill and chat and relax for a bit with a nice girl. That was a whole song, but he just puts it together in a way that creates an overall theme. So that was a good example of storytelling. I particularly like Slick Rick for that as well, so check him out. There's different things you could do. And you don't have to have a theme per se, as long as you can keep the overall vibe the same. Even though song subjects or song topics will differ. So Fort Minor had a good, I think it was an LP for this. I don't know if it's self-titled or if it was called something else, but I think they've only got like one or two that they made. Well, this one with Mike Shinoda and his little rap group, one with Name of the Game and Kenji and stuff like that. So Kenji is one song where it talks about his granddad during the Second World War, during the time of like Pearl Harbor and that. He's got another song that's about the hustle of trying to become a rapper against all odds. Another one where it's just observing the town and wondering about what people might be up to in this sort of town. Like in one moment there's 1,000 stories on one street kind of thing. There's a whole range of different song subjects on there, song topics, but he wraps it together nicely because the music's still got that fresh, cool sound to it, and of course it's rapping in the same sort of style, give or take. And I think his attitude, the way he carries himself, it just packs into almost like his branding that gives an overall vibe. You can tell it's them. They've established their sound, so that works for that album, even though there isn't a particular theme because it covers a range of song topics. But again, it could probably come under a bit of self-reflection and observing, and so you make your own rules up, is what I'm saying. But I would advise that you make at least 50% of the songs match a particular theme for an EP, album, whatever. I'm just going to keep saying EP, right? So, yeah, 50%, at least 50% of the songs need to follow the same theme, or if you don't have a theme, have at least 80% of the songs that follow the same sort of vibe, the same kind of sound, give or take. So even though you can have one song that's a bit of a depressing story and another one a bit like, man, I love partying, isn't partying awesome? If it's got the same sort of sound, same similar vibes, similar pace, you know what I mean, it can fit together nicely. So I'm gonna now look through some of the lyrics I've got, primarily the complete ones or almost complete ones, and see what theme I can make out of it, or if it's one of the ones I've mentioned already. I've got enough songs to sort of go into that. At this point, I'm not too fussed about how many songs make the overall track list. Doesn't matter. I don't know if I'll have an intro and stuff like that, or skits. Skits, for those who don't know, it is the pieces in between the songs. So you might have Eminem's got a few skits, where he talks to, what was it, Paul, or he talks to like the label or whatever. You hear this, it breaks the songs apart a little bit. Let's be goofing around. It could be like a 30-second instrumental, like Limp Bizkit tended to do that. I've really gone off. I used to love Limp Bizkit, but you know what? I just can't get past his squeaky voice anymore. I wish I could. Put me out. Anyway, so in terms of songs, I'll go with about 7-ish. It doesn't matter whether there's 5 on there or 15. You know what I mean? The whole point in an EP is it's an extended play. So a demo would be like 1 or 2 songs, or several snippets of songs, because it's a demonstration of an album, or at least a demonstration of the artist. This is me. This is a demonstration of who I am, to give you a rough idea. There's not much point in making demos anymore, I don't see, unless you're like starting out in high school or something, I don't know. But anyway, EP is an extended play, so it's not enough to be considered a full album, which is why there's an argument of whether or not you should sell EPs. I would argue no, but I also had the idea of like a fun, goofy, telling funny stories sort of album as well, EP, sorry, and call it the Night EP, and then sell it for 90p, because you're not going to charge the amount for a full album because you're not providing a full album. But for one, you need enough people to sell to. You need the audience at least somewhat already there, gigging and promoting it and all that stuff. But EP is a bit more laid back. It's a bit like, okay, here's a little collection of some songs that I put together, and it works better if you have a theme. So I'm gonna look through my songs, or at least my lyrics, and that I can potentially turn into songs, and then see if I can decide on a theme, or at least get the idea of the vibe I want, something that glues them together a little bit. I think that's more important than deciding the track list. I think that would come later. And that's where skits and intros and stuff can come in quite handy. So theme first is what I would typically advise. Now, bear in mind, I've only ever made 1 EP, and it was pretty amateur. I was going to say shit. It weren't terrible. It certainly wasn't amazing. It was good for a beginner, I would say. But it's not, you can't expect to actually sell it, you know what I mean? It's not quite to that quality. You could probably sell it for like 50p on the streets or something and get away with that. But if you were charging a tenner for it, you know what I mean, it wouldn't be worth the money at all. So yeah, this is going to be a much better, more structured, all round better EP. That's my plan. My second EP is going to be a much better, an improvement from the last one. So first thing I want to do is establish a theme, because I didn't do that on the last one. Although again, the sound, the vibe of it character of who I am sort of thing, I think came through a little bit, so I had a bit of my own sound, but could have been polished up a lot better. So this is attempt 2, and I'm going to walk you through my process. Don't have the solid plan in exact steps yet, but I've got I've got a couple of steps. I've got an overall plot of what I want to do, even though I don't know it down to an exact detail. So I'm just going to keep. I've got no. How can I put this? I know what I'm doing. I know some of the basic main principles, the main steps, and everything can be based around that, and there'll be a little bit of creativity and improvising from there. I mean, I'm still going to make the songs, so that'll be the journey. So I'm going to see what I can do with my lyrics and see if I can come up with a theme. Peace. I need a better way of saying goodbye. Sometimes I just say fuck her. Yeah.